Yo, I'm Coach Trifes, and this video is all about teaching you how to 270 on, pretzel 270 out on skis. The 2 pretz 2, that's usually the most common phrase, or meanwhile often referred as 270 in, backside 270 out, is one of the most classic rail tricks to do in skiing. Beside the lip bump line 2, of course, shout out to my boy Talty Dan and Arsenic for keeping it true. So you basically jump onto a rail or tube with a 270 degree spin on, and then spin off the rail feature the opposite way you initially spun on with another 270 degree spin. You take off forward and land forward again, whilst actually having performed a 540 degree spin in total, but essentially in 2 different directions combined together, if that makes sense to you. That's why it's also called pretzel, because you twist your spinnings the other way. I guess it was supposed to be funny while they were referring towards the pretzel for its curly windings, but honestly, I actually don't know who came up with that. I guess Tom Wallace played a big role in making it famous, since he's the OG pretzel man. I highly recommend to watch his super random video for educational purposes and true pretzel action. As you maybe already know, usually rail features are quite slippery and require edge pressure work in order to stop and initiate momentum on that slippery surface. I'll be telling you all about it and what to keep an eye out for. Coach Strife has got you with the insights, and let's move right on to the basics you need for it. Needless to say, sliding any rail feature shouldn't be a big deal for you in any stance at this point. So you should be comfortable sliding left foot forward and right foot forward. Having backside, or more rather blindside 270 outs down, is mandatory. Those are jumping onto a rail and then continue into the spinning direction you just jumped on with a 270 degree spin off the feature. As an example, you jump onto the feature right foot forward, so you finish it off with a left side spun 270 degree spin off the feature. As the name of the trick already implies, 270 ons onto rail features should be in your daily trick bag, because you need those. If you can't do either of those mentioned things, don't worry, feel free to continue to watch this video. I'll drop a video later on in time on how to do blindside 270 out and how to actually do 270 onto jib features. Let's start off with the right setup and approach of the obstacle. As you can see, I try to come in a little angled way into the feature whilst I continuously look at the feature start and takeoff flip. This actually takes some work off me, because with the speed that I'm carrying with me in the angle of approach, I have to worry less about jumping over the feature in order to land centered on top of it. Lesser speed requires a bigger angle, bigger speed requires a smaller angle. This allows me to exclusively focus on popping right and getting my ski noses over the tube so it doesn't clip the feature whilst performing the 270 on. As I'm winding up for the 270, you can also see my leading arm to raise up as well, because this motion allows me to lift my whole body upwards, which plays into easing it for myself to ollie onto the feature. Use the flex of your ski so they can pop and help a lot. More power equals more energy. That results in a higher pop. Simple physics here, no magic or special skill. You can also imagine yourself doing a skateboard ollie motion, like the deck itself, not the actual feet. That can probably help you here. Now about the actual pop and takeoff with the rotation. Just right when you get to the takeoff flip, you focus with your eyes the beginning of the feature. Actually, you should also anticipate by looking down somewhere where you end up landing on the feature. As I've described before, sliding out of rails in general will give you that rail feeling and skills that you can anticipate where you end up on the feature. Now for the pop itself, I've bent my knees and now I fully extend them in order to gain the strong pop with my whole body, including raising my arms up. My skis are also shifted. The reason why I've shifted my skis like that is that I'm trying to gain extra swing energy with my outside leg, which is leading, while my inside leg is literally my standing leg where most of my weight is being put on. My outer leg also leaves just a split second before the inside leg. That is my swinging leg, by the way. So I can swing it ahead and give myself a snappy spin and pop where my body will follow along. Now that you've left the ground, you should be spinning right above the jib feature, whilst looking down at your nose so you can see where you currently are, and that you can ensure your noses are not hitting the feature, which normally leads to an instant stop of the rotation and the fall of yourself. Raise your legs and the ski noses up. You can only start to lower your noses and your legs down the second your feet actually got around at least the 180 towards the 270. So your noses, when they're down, are in no way to clip the feature. Now, what is that pretzeling all about? Land with your shoulders quite closed on the rail feature. If they're way too open, this means your leading shoulder is actually like pointing over the 270-degree mark, then you'll have a hard time to keep your posture in order to start pretzeling. You should have it remaining at 270, ideally even less, so you already kind of point your back towards the end of the rail. Since you should ideally already be able to do backside 270 out, you should be familiar with applying edge pressure onto the feature by literally angling your leading ski downwards with the nose, so you can hammer that inside edge of your leading ski into the obstacle and start creating a resistance that will allow you to eventually grip for a short moment on the rail feature. Timing the start of trying to grip your ski's edges and you being towards the end of the obstacle is crucial. Make sure that you therefore look at the end of the rail after you landed with the 270 on to keep yourself orientated and to time the process of pretzeling right. While pretzeling, you also want to distribute your weight onto your back leg mostly. So your front leg, the leading ski, has actually quite the freedom to move around up and down, so you can adjust the amount of pressure you want to create on the obstacle and fine tune how much actually of resistance you need to start to initiate spin into the other direction. The degree of how sticky your edges are or like how sharp they are will definitely play a huge factor on how much you have to actually press your inside edges into the rail feature, because if you have really sharp and sticky skis, you have to actually less worry about on how hard you actually pressure that rail. But if your edges are quite slippery and round already, you have to actually pretzel way harder in order to get that grip going. If you ask yourself at this point, when do you actually feel that moment or when do you start to pretzel? Well, often you can feel the exact moment underneath your skis on the rail feature quite significantly when the ski starts to grip, and you can use that as timing point to then start building up momentum in order to start initiating the spin into the opposite direction to actually do the pretzel 270 out. The second you feel that timing, you start turning your shoulders and use your arms to wind up a little in order to gather enough power to do the opposite 270-degree out spin. Use your leading ski, which you're pretzeling with, as pushing leg of the feature in order to pop off from it, whilst your shoulders and head already started to look ahead into the desired spinning direction. You should then see the landing quite fast, and the rest of the body should catch up with the rotation, and you're good to go and land straight forward again. A little extra tip at that point: lift your nose by slightly leaning back towards the landing up when doing the pretzel 270. You'll get a better pop, and you don't clip your nose while spinning, which will also help you out when doing pretzel 450 outs in the future. And that was it for the 270 on, pretzel 270 out. I know this was quite a lot to take in. I can just emphasize on really trying to go out and feel this gripping, pretzeling movement on regular rail slides, and from there on you will get this trick in no time. As always, check me out on Instagram and my Patreon private individual online coaching, where you can send in any trick you're trying to do right now, and I will send you an analyzer video with suggestions back. Coach Trifes, out.